The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us. As always, go to stewart.com/radio. That's where you could see and hear the show, not just this show, but any past show for the last few years, as this is show 482. Once again, simply go to stewart.com/radio. I am your host, Bill Knapik, and today we have super real estate professionals with us, as always. So we're going to start with Jennifer Rhodes. She is with Red Lion Realty. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill. Thank you.
Here you are, Red Lion Realty. That's the company, and Richard Lubeck is the broker.
Yes,
so that's a tremendous company in the Katy area, right?
Yes, tremendous brokerage. Yes.
Well, let's tell people a little bit more about Red Lion Realty.
We predominantly serve the Katy, Fulshire, Richmond, Rosenberg area. We are passionate about putting our clients first and taking the time to meet their needs. And I just love being with Richard and Red Lion Realty. We have an amazing team, and it's just been a great experience.
You know, when you said Richard's name like that, for some reason I was thinking of the Knights of the Round. Was it Richard the Lionhearted?
Yes.
I wonder if that's where he got the name.
Probably.
We'll have to find out later. But in the meantime, you are talking about markets right there in Katy and the Richmond. Super hot markets, right?
Super hot.
So let's tell people about if they're a buyer or seller or a potential buyer or seller out there. What's going on from a real estate standpoint, complexion of what's happening?
From the real estate standpoint, things are hot. Things are moving and shaking. As most people know, people are moving to Texas, especially the Katy, Fulshire area. So things are moving quickly. But there is inventory at this time, and we are looking forward to being a very strong summer.
In addition to being hot?
It's very warm. We're hoping it doesn't continue like the heat for the rest of it's only June.
I know. It's amazing, isn't it?
It's very warm. Yes, sir. It's just really hot.
So
but things are just moving and shaking.
A strong summer. And you said something very important there. You said that there is inventory.
There is. We are predicting, nobody can tell the future, but we are predicting some lower inventory in the next coming months, especially because everybody's trying to get in and get settled and get moved in. And when you're transferring from state to state or even just upsizing, downsizing, there's only so many houses. So the sooner you want to buy and sell, the better.
Give us an idea. Are you right now helping more buyers or sellers?
More buyers.
And I was thinking you were going to say that. Then I'm going to say, are you, as we mentioned other areas, how many of those buyers, let's say if you're helping in the last 10 buyers, are any of them coming from out of the state?
At least half.
At least half?
At least half.
And then how are they finding you, Jennifer Rhodes, with Red Lion Realty?
Because in our brokerage, we have a relocations division.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So they find somehow through the genius of Red Lion Realty and Richard.
Yes.
He's going to like that I said that.
Yes.
The genius part.
Yes.
So anyway, through all that, they find you from what are the states in this half deal?
I believe Leela is one of our agents, and she is in charge of the relocation division. I am in charge of the builders division. And so I believe she's been discussing California, New York, Michigan, the states up north. But she had said, I believe it was Georgia or one of the southern Oklahoma, Georgia, somewhere like that. So I think just a lot of people that are wanting to move are just coming here because Texas is the best.
That's correct. There are so many advantages. Not only, and of course, all cities have and states have great history, but I've been researching our history a little bit. It is fascinating.
It is.
This state, what it is today, 2023, what it will become, and what it once was even 100 plus years ago.
I agree.
And some of the people that come here know the heritage of Texas, and it's going to be awesome. So what about the sellers? Let's say if you're helping the sellers, what are you telling them, let's say, in the Katy area?
Well, any of my sellers that are in any area, when I come in, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to declutter your home. We're going to stage your home. And we're going to do it all at one time so that when you have buyers coming in, they are seeing the best version of your house. You don't get a second chance with some of these people. You know, they might not come back a second time.
Good point.
So you need it to be pristine. You need everything to be in the correct place. It's a one-shot deal with a lot of them. So that's why I encourage my sellers to hire me, is because I can do all that.
Well, let's just say on the research I did, the limited research, I found out that you're very interested in having things in order, not just for yourself, apparently, but also to help your clients.
Correct. Yeah, labeling is important, Bill.
Labeling, okay.
With my little labeler.
Okay, give us a word on labeling. We want to know about labeling.
Everything has to be organized in the pantry or anything. That normally happens. Seriously, that normally happens after they move into their new home. But coming in to make their home, most homes have too much stuff in them. They have too much furniture. They have too many things in the closet, too many things in the pantry.
And the drawers. Oh, my goodness.
Correct. So I come in and I declutter. But then once we move to the new location, that's when I come in and do the organizing typically. But staging is normally done at their previous home that they're going to sell.
Well, there's no doubt. There's something satisfying when visiting a home, especially or even being in your own home when things are in order, whether it's in the closet, the drawer, or whatever else. And certainly when presenting our properties for sale, it makes it more appealing.
I agree. It's a game changer.
I bet you could do hours on the topic of organizing and decluttering.
I could.
Because I saw on your Facebook pictures of drawers, just simple kitchen drawers. And I said, hey, this is interesting because that's what it's about.
Yes, so, it is.
So you can help people in that special way. Also, as far as when you look at, you were saying earlier that we think it's going to be a strong summer. Mm-hmm. So what are the indications of that when you and the team at Red Lion Realty get together and you say, okay, hey, here's what we got going right now? I'm assuming you might have meetings every now and then.
We do.
And you're saying, well, what's going to happen in the next month or so? But when you project on, Jennifer, when you think about even, it's not that far, September, October-ish, what are y'all projecting?
Well, we're predicting just more growth. All the way around. We have so many different new subdivisions coming in Katy and Fulshear area. Several of them are waiting to get electricity. They're running on generators because they're building so fast that literally, I mean, that's
so the builder, they have the homes almost ready, I'm guessing.
Correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
They have the model homes on generators, and then they're building homes up to the level that they can until the plumbing and the wiring needs to come in, and then once the electricity gets turned on in the next 2 to 3 months, then they'll finish the home. But they're selling. I mean, I am in charge of I think my official title is Builder Division Director, and so when I go out to the new homes and all the different communities, they don't have very many lots left already, and some of them are going to be opening new ones. Some of them aren't. When you are selling a home with a pool. Right now, it sells in 24 to 48 hours, typically. Fast.
So having a pool is a real feature right now.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's 120 degrees outside, so that probably helps.
It comes in handy. Now, there's maintenance that goes with it. There are people that won't buy a pool because of the maintenance. And there are.
A pool is a thing you either want one or you don't want one. That's just how it is, you know. But still. But right now, I think the heat's definitely helping them. They're like, we want the pool.
Well, and also, as I'm hearing about the high price of building a new pool, having that home with the pool already ready to go is a nice thing. There's no doubt about that.
Move in, jump in. Yeah.
Does your home have a pool?
Our current does not. We downsized a few years ago, but our last 2 houses did.
Well,
Yes.
also, Jennifer, let's tell people, what are some of the other things you want them to know about your distinctions as you're helping buyers and sellers? You put people first, no doubt about that. You have a specialty in that decluttering and helping people stay organized. What else should we know about what's happening there in your world in real estate?
Well, I also have a background in interior design. I did interior design for about 20 years. So I have a different view of when you go into a home and, like, let's say the walls are painted, bright pink or this kind of thing. So
I would run out of that.
Yes,
I'm just
right.
saying.
But I mean, paint's
you run
easy.
into it. Yeah.
Paint's easy. Replacing floors isn't really that bad. So different little things. I mean, let's just imagine, you're walking into the house and they're like, I don't like ABC. I was like, well, what if it was like this? And then they're like, oh, I didn't think of that. Let me do it like this. And then it changes the whole conversation completely. So,
well, I would think that'd be very helpful to have, and that's one of the things of someone that is in the interior design
Correct.
world, even
Correct.
home staging, that when they look at a room, or when you look at a room,
Right.
you're going to see it in a different way, and in many cases, the potential that it could have
correct.
by doing certain things.
Correct.
That's a good feature, Jennifer.
Yes, it is. I'm unique, Bill. So
Indeed,
unique.
you are helping people every day. Before we close the segment, we're talking with Jennifer Rhodes with Red Line Realty in Katy, Texas. Before we close the segment, Jennifer, what else do you want people to know?
Just reach out to me and get in touch with me. I'm on Facebook, all social media. My phone number is 832-431-6736.
Again, the number is?
832-431-6736.
And is there any chance your two boxers are listening?
Probably.
There you go. Dogs
Yes.
love this show, Jennifer.
Oh, I
is
will have to
proven.
make sure that they are all tuned in, sir.
No doubt about it. And the number again is?
832-431-6736.
Jennifer Rhodes. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Bill.
As we continue, let's talk to Chris Hiller. He is with Keller Williams Premier in Katy, Texas. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Bill. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's good to see you as always. Well, let's tell people, Keller Williams, there are so many locations for Keller Williams. Let's talk the designation where you are at, because actually I believe there's more than one Keller Williams in Katy even. So let's tell people.
Right. Well, there are our frenemies on Fry Road, but
we love the guys on Fry Road. In fact, I could throw a stone and hit that office.
We're the original Katy franchise there in the Villaggio, corner of Westheimer Parkway and Peak.
So that's where you're at. So for those not familiar with
Katy,
let's say that's further west, basically, right?
Yeah, we're in Cinco Ranch. We were the very first real estate office within the geographical boundaries of Cinco Ranch.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So then when did the Fry Road office open up? That was later?
It became a Keller Williams office later. It was formerly with Brand X.
Well, I will tell you this. As I live in the Katy area, not quite, almost, I think it's fascinating what's going on in Katy right now. But as we're talking about the evolution of your Keller Williams presence there, I think someone should be writing, if it's not already been done, the history of Katy, because it's fascinating, all the movement and where it came from.
Well, we're the size of Pittsburgh, and
really,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
And there's of course a history to Katy with the railroad and the rice industry, but it's become a wonderful place to live, raise a family. My wife and I raised 4 children there. Lived in our parenting home for 27 years in Cinco Ranch, and just moved to our grandparenting home in Cross Creek. So it's a great place.
That's super awesome. One of the other things about you have been in the real estate world. This is a distinction. I'll let you tell everybody, but I know you've been in the real estate world 2 decades. Is that right?
Exactly.
But also with Keller, let's tell people about your Keller Williams distinction.
Okay. So I started my career full-time the first week of June in 2001. And that week we had Tropical Storm Allison. 3 months later we had 9/11. And then the next month Enron went belly up overnight. So I looked up and I said, well, the only way we can go is up from here.
Good time to learn the real estate world, right?
Exactly.
But you've been with the same Keller Williams' office for 20 years, and you're still there, right?
Exactly. When recruiters call me, I say, well, I just bought my burial plot underneath my office. So
That's commitment.
Well, everybody has their own reason for hanging their license somewhere. And, I really personally owe a lot to Keller Williams. It changed my life. It changed my financial world. Everybody has their own bent. Keller Williams is a big training company, and I'm a teacher and a coach by profession, previous life. And so I have plenty of opportunity to train and teach. I teach CE for Texas Real Estate Commission, as another one of your guests does as well. And it fits my personality quite a bit to be at Keller Williams.
Well, as you look at the market, Chris, and also with your 20 years experience, when you think ahead, here we are, mid-year, end of June, we go forth. What are you seeing? What would you speculate's about to unfold in the next couple quarters?
Well, I think that we're going to see buyers outnumbering sellers for a long time to come.
Is that how it is right now, you think?
I definitely think so. It's been that way for the last 3 years, and it's not just because of COVID and all the things that are in the news and everything that's happening, but it's also because in Texas we have a lot of people coming here from other parts of the world, but also we have this huge population, the children of baby boomers that are all right now just in the throes of that starter home, first-time home buyer age, and just a preponderance of buyers right now as opposed to people putting their house on the market. That
is amazing. It makes me, as I contemplate that from talking to people every show and other places, it makes you think, does it stop?
Oh, I'm sure eventually it's all going to balance out.
But it's pretty robust.
Yeah, and with interest rates the way they are right now, if people are sitting in a home and they're on a 2.5% or 3% interest rate and they're thinking about selling, what are they going to do? They're going to sell and up their interest rate and probably pay more for a home. And so a lot of people that would normally be thinking about putting their home on the market right now, I think, are staying put just for that reason. So that's reducing inventory as well.
I would, if I'm someone out there that doesn't have to buy but is thinking about a second home, maybe for investment or for other reasons, I'm interpreting that what you're saying here in the last minute or so. Better buy something. If you see something you like, buy it now.
Well, it's always a good time to buy good real estate.
There you go. From a great professional like Chris Hiller. Chris, let's tell people, speaking of the buyers right now, how are you advising the buyers right now when they come to you and say, hey, Chris, I want to buy a property, Fulsher, Katie? What are you telling them?
Well,
how do they prepare for that adventure?
Yeah. Well, one thing is they really do have to, any buyer right now, whether they're working with me or any realtor, has to really trust their real estate professional. We say things sometimes that sounds like we're being salespeople. We're not salespeople, by the way. We ceased being salespeople when buyer representation came into being. We're now consultants and guides, teachers, helping people through the process. So I tell my buyers, you have to trust me. And if I say, well, you need to get that offer in the next hour, it's not a sales pitch, it's reality. You still in a situation where you have to move pretty quick if you want to get in on a property.
Listen to your real estate professional. Trust your real estate professional, right?
I think that's really, really important. And, I like to think that I have the heart of a teacher. As real estate agents, we are continually imparting knowledge and wisdom every time that we work with a new client. And that's really, really what we're doing.
Well, also your background, you mentioned you had a business and
owned a gymnastics business for 20 years.
Gymnastics business. Mm-hmm. So you had that. You have teaching experience, and those are very important elements when helping buyers and sellers today because it's a big decision.
Yeah, and we really are coaches, helping people through this process. And it's important. I think that if you're looking for a real estate agent, that you find someone who's getting into your world and not an agent that sees it as you getting into their world, because we're coming along on your real estate journey. helping you reach your real estate goals. And there's a different approach when you have that high-minded fiduciary responsibility to a client.
Well, also, as I thought about your background with gymnastics and physical fitness elements, it's so important to have both things connected, the mind and the body. Whatever we do as a real estate professional or anything else, having physical activity to be able to help people in your role and anything we do, that's such an important thing.
Yeah, I hope no one's watching the YouTube version of this because they can see that I have a little ways to go in the health and fitness area. But,
millions are watching right now, at least potentially.
Yeah, well, it's also, there's so much behavioral science that's involved in working with clients. At the end of the day, for example, and I tell buyers this, you ask that question, at the end of the day, at the end of a transaction, every buyer always wonders if they could have gotten that property for less. And every seller wonders if they could have gotten more
right.
for that property.
That's human nature, though, right?
Going back to ancient Egypt, I'm sure it's been that way every time. It's universal. And so setting expectations is real important, whether you're working with buyers or sellers. And I am continually setting expectations, continually ending conversations with, well, this is what's going to happen next. This is what could happen next. And that way they're kind of prepared for what's next along the way.
Well, as you're teaching and helping your clients, it would seem to me, any real estate professional, some of them are new home, the first-time buyers, we'll call it,
right.
And then some of them may have purchased their last home 7-8 years ago, and things have really changed since then. So the counseling and teaching role is amplified, I would think, as the real estate professional.
Right, and I have a client right now. They bought a home 10 years ago. It was a new home, and so now they're selling it. And even selling a home for the first time, even though they've been a homeowner, there's a lot to learn and a lot to know. They were wondering today why they have to pay for the title insurance when they bought their new home. Why they have to pay for the title insurance as a seller when they bought their new home as a buyer. The builder made them pay the title insurance. I said, well, that's kind of the way it is.
Things change.
Things change, and it's also different in a new home transaction as opposed to a resale. But everything's negotiable.
We're talking with Chris Hiller, Keller Williams Premier. Well, Chris, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know?
Well, if they want to know about me, just go ahead and Google the Chris Hiller team, and they can read some reviews. But again, I like to approach this business from the heart of a teacher and also from a high level of professionalism, which goes to the language we use, the way we talk to people, and the way we communicate.
And Chris, let's tell people how to reach you.
Okay, well, my phone number is 832-687-6366, and email CN as in November, Hiller, HILLER, @kw.com.
And the number again is?
832-687-6366.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Bill, for having me.
Let's talk money with Anna Babineau with Guild Mortgage. Anna, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Honored to be here.
Well, we're happy to see you. And also, money makes the world go round. It's the lifeblood of so many things, certainly the real estate transaction. Let's tell people about your company, Guild Mortgage.
Well, the company is over 60 years old, and we're strong, we're national, and I love that national feel of Guild and affords us opportunities that products can be created based on strength. And an example of that, we have partnerships with Home Depot. We are able to throw in appliances on FHA loans for that to be in the financing. In addition to, we have some products on the conventional side that we can give gift cards with Home Depot. So it's just one of the cool features of being strong, national, have a lot of strength in the power of the company. And then the individual branches like myself get to personalize that a little bit more for the customer. And we have a lot of autonomy to love on the customers individually, through mailers, gifts, and things like that. And Guild also is very big on that because we're all big on working by referral.
So do I have to be going through a real estate transaction for you to throw in an appliance? Because I'm needing a new washer and dryer. Just say, or I'm gonna have to get a mortgage through you, right? And then
You
we
would
might make that
a
happen.
purchase, an FHA purchase.
All right, that's exciting. That's the first time in the mortgage world that we've talked to someone that said that I love when things are thrown in as a bonus in any kind of transaction, because that speaks to exceeding expectations. Thus, high customer services. That's how I interpret it.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's fascinating. The other thing you mentioned about your national presence. So if someone's listening, certainly here in Houston, you're able to help someone with a mortgage right here in Houston. But if someone's listening on the internet, like they often do in another state, and they want to reach out to one of your associates, I don't know, Indiana, Pennsylvania, California, they could do so.
They can. I'm nationally licensed. And I prefer to lend in Texas, but I have partners all over the country.
Well, let's tell people, as far as the mortgage world goes, to me, we were talking about numbers and complexities, different types of mortgages. What inspired you to be in this profession to begin with?
It's a great question. I've been in finance all my life. I was in banking for 25 years. Most of my career, I was centered around real estate. So I literally worked with Texas Commerce Bank in the Medical Center. We were the largest real estate portfolio out of most of the branches. Branch banking occurred while I was with the bank, and I managed the real estate funding side downtown Houston with Texas Commerce before it was eventually now Chase. In addition to that, I was a compliance officer. So I trained and motivated lenders to do the right thing as they're underwriting their loans. We have to decision loans within 30 days. And I left banking for a little while. When I went back, I was a business development officer, and I was laid off again. And kind of the world talked to me, and I was in the Heights at that time, and the Heights Chamber people were like, Anna, why aren't you in real estate? Why aren't you doing mortgages? That it's like everything about what has been in your background has related in some way to mortgages and real estate. And I kind of took them up on that and went and took the class, passed the test, and it resonated. But then you had to find the customers. That was the new thing. But the good Lord provided, because my last job, I was business development. So what did I do? I knew how to go and find clients and meet with people that I knew in my past and create and renew the relationships outside of the commercial banking world into the residential world. So that's how I got my start. I then, though, had to learn how to network, seriously network.
These are all things that are very important, and they're their own art form in itself.
Yes.
And you've learned these things and put them into practice, I'm guessing, daily.
Daily. Even today.
Even today, as you're here visiting with us. Well, let's tell people, we hear so much about the rates, right? And I'm going to guess, please correct me if I'm wrong, but as rates are about what are they now for someone? I know it depends on the loan, but at this moment, someone has great credit, the tops of scores, they're going to put 20% down, let's say, for a 15-year loan, conventional. About where is the ballpark of the rate?
They're somewhere in the sixes.
Okay, so here's what I'm getting at. To me, that's not really high.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone that's comparing it to a short blip in time, which was a few years ago, or at the 2% time, that was just a blip. 6% is not a big deal, I don't think.
It's not.
And we're getting used to it.
It's not. I use inflation charts to describe what interest rates are doing. And if you follow inflation, you can pretty much follow what the interest rate is. So in the 80s, when I bought my first house, my interest rate was 12%. And commercial rates were 24%. So inflation was 20%. You just kind of parallel that what the economy is doing is driving the focus. And if you watched what happened from September of last year to where we are today, you saw us go from 3.65 interest rates to over 7. And what was inflation last summer? 9. It had to come down, and in order to bring pricing down as a whole, we use the rest of the economic forecast out there. Our food, our housing, everything is going to go up in price to slow down the spending to get inflation down, to bring the rates down.
You sound like an economist, and I love that. I think people listening are enjoying that as well. So how many times a week, I've already done it once, how many times are people saying, Anna, what's the interest rate? Does that happen a lot?
Every day.
Every day.
All the time.
As soon as you tell them what you do, right?
As soon as you do, yes.
So as far as, let's talk about a little bit about the marketing that you mentioned. As far as, we know some of the things realtors do to find customers and so forth. But in the mortgage world, what are some of the things you do? Being on the radio is probably helpful, but what other things do you do day to day to build your business? I know you've built up a good referral business through the years, but what other things do you do?
Well, I think today visibility is really important. So I'm really grateful to be here today. I do a lot of realtor networking. So I do sponsor a lot of our local breakfasts for our realtors. I also have been honored to be a CE instructor. So I only do one class, and it's about finance. It's a 3-hour CE credit. And that affords me to get in front of a lot more realtors all across the Houston market, and to help people understand inflation and interest rates and differences between banks, brokers, mortgage bankers, credit unions. We're not all created equal. And I love on our customers. It's really important that the experience for the customer is a loving situation. Chris hit on it really well, that the experience is a per person thing. And until a customer is our customer or our client, they won't know what they didn't know. And I have a lot of customers that come back to me saying, Anna, I bought 5 houses, but I have never had anyone teach me what it is to actually have a mortgage and why it works the way it works.
If someone's out there listening right now and they may be buying a home or thinking about buying a home or planning, better word, to buy a home, say in August of this year or even September, when should someone prepare or talk to a mortgage professional like you, Anna Babineau?
Now.
So
we're actually a little late.
A couple months ahead.
At least. If we have any challenge or fear about buying, that challenge or fear can be addressed very early and even resolved if we have the time to resolve it. If we have a lower credit score, we could help raise it. If we need to retire some debt or raise some money, you don't know what you don't know until you've had the discovery. And in most cases, we can do a soft pull on credit, so we can really work on that picture without the fear that people have about my credit's going to get pulled. Inquiry. Our world doesn't work like that. My world doesn't. But a soft pull de-stresses that and helps people feel more confident that, oh, nobody's going to know that my credit's been pulled. Correct. We're here to strategize. And to me, the earlier the better. I have customers a year out.
You said something very important. You're saying that if someone's score is a little lower, a few months they can improve that?
Possibly.
So let's say 4 months. Is that enough time?
It could be for the right
so
circumstance.
There's hope for someone that I just talked to someone and that they're living in an apartment, and this person said, I said, why don't you think about buying? Well, my credit score is not that good. That was his perception. Mm-hmm. My credit score is not that good.
Right.
So in my mind, I didn't quiz him or go further than that, but in my mind, I'm thinking, well, then you start doing the things to get a better credit score, but how long does it take to get there? So
every customer will be different. Some, it will be 30 days. Some, it will be 2 years. And I've had them all over the spectrum. But I have also had people that we've done the work, we've gotten in contract, we raised the score, and we closed the loan and have got them into a home.
Sounds fascinating. So be prepared. Contact yourself, someone like Anna Babineau with Guild Mortgage now, and start talking about it if you're planning on buying a home. Sounds to me like any time in 2023.
Absolutely.
Let's tell people how they can reach you. Anna.
My cell is 713-907-5365. My email, ababineau, good luck spelling that one, at guildmortgage.net.
There's several ways to spell it. I know that firsthand. Let's tell the number again. Anna is
713-907-5365.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is again, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance.
Bill, always a pleasure.
Here we go, John. Always by the time you do your segment every week, I'm overwhelmed with the guests, the information they bring forth, and the insights that they bring to us every week.
I mean, every week the guests just get better and better, and the information is always worthwhile beyond just real estate, just good business.
Exactly. Good business, and learning even personally about each guest is fascinating to me. And here you are, bringing insurance to us once again, to the millions of listeners. I don't know what we're up to now, but I'm optimistic. You know that.
Oh, then let's go with millions.
All right.
You know, we've got a CE class called Real Estate Liability, Reduce Your Risk and Protect Your License. And within that class, we talk about 8 industry factors that could increase the risk that real estate professionals face as they do business on a day-to-day basis. So I wanted to talk a little bit about those 8 factors today. I want to make sure that we understand risk, at least from an insurance perspective. And we define risk as the probability of an event occurring that may lead to an undesirable outcome. So the probability that an event will occur that may lead to an undesirable outcome. So these 8 items that we're going to talk about can lead to, if we're not managed properly, an undesirable outcome.
Well, we don't want that.
No, we don't. So we're going to talk about those so at least we can be aware of what's out there. Number 1 is the property condition and the history. So not every home is perfect. Now, if we're buying the home, we might think it's perfect, but there's no perfect home. So making sure that we understand that. We understand the condition of the home and the history of the home. So as a real estate professional, our clients are going to lean on us to have that knowledge and be able to provide the guidelines or at least recognize some potential red flags. So the first one is property condition and history. The second is property value. You know this. If you think about the size and the significance of this transaction, it's going to be, if it's not the largest that an individual or a family makes, it'll be one of the largest.
It's a big one, though.
It's a big one. So, and there's not only is it a financial decision, but it's an emotional decision. So, we need to keep that in mind. And then, as Anna was mentioning earlier, we've gone from, rates in the 2s and the 3s now to the 6s and the 7s. So you're dealing with a client that might say, 18 months ago, you sold a house in my neighborhood for, $10,000, $20,000 more than the listing price, and they had 27 offers. On mine, you only got me $5,000 over, and there was only 3 offers. So making sure that you set expectations in and around the property value is important, especially considering what we've gone through recently. Number 3 is area-specific hazards. So, Jennifer mentioned all the folks that were moving into town. So if somebody's coming from elsewhere, whether it be from California or New York, or it could be somebody coming to work for an energy company from England, they may not be aware of hurricanes. and the damage that they can do. Or, if somebody's moving from Texas to California.
Well, wildfires.
Just
Read
exactly.
about that this week.
Yeah, if I'm moving to the Northeast, I may not be aware of the damages a snowstorm can handle. So making sure that your clients are aware of the different types of specific hazards that are in relation to the geography that we live in. Business relationships. So folks that get into this world and into the real estate professional, they're all givers. They all want to serve. They all want to be that resource, and that's fantastic. But be careful about your referral partners. Make sure that you've vetted them, because your name is going to be attached to them. And if an issue comes up, they're going to hold you liable just like they hold that referral partner. So, just make sure that you're comfortable with who those folks are. And if there is a relationship with that individual, make sure you disclose that.
Good
So
point.
business relationships. Number 5, electronic communications. We're communicating completely different now than we were 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. So, are your electronic communications protected? There are just so many ways that fraudulent transactions can happen. We can be hacked. Funds can be misdirected. So make sure that that when you are communicating electronically, which we all do every day, that we protect those communications. Going along with that is how you manage information. So you think about it, we've got tons of non-public personal identification information on our clients. And if a bad actor is able to get a hold of that information, they can do some serious damage, not only to our brokerage, but also to our clients. Data breaches, if you've lost a device. So if you are working remotely between 2 open houses, and you're working off of your phone, and you leave it at the table at the coffee shop to go get another cup, and somebody picks it up. Yeah, or your laptop. So just be careful about that. Number 7 is social media and advertising. From a social media perspective, just think about if there are any ramifications about how you post information. Be careful about who you accept as a friend request, especially on your business page. And then think about terms about copyright or libel or slander in how you use photographs and what you say about situations. So just be careful about that. And the last one is not quite as prevalent in today's market, but it's still worth talking about, and that's travel reliance. Early, 20 years ago, it was not unheard of for a realtor to stop by and pick up their client and go see houses together. Now, most of the realtors that I visit with, they meet their clients at locations. So just be careful if you are taking somebody with you in the car that you've made sure you've vetted that individual.
And that's another liability or potential liability.
Absolutely. So those are the 8.
So many things to think about.
Yeah,
Wow.
we just want to make sure that we're aware of the potential risks that are out there, so that we can try to avoid them or at least minimize them.
Well, and you mentioned something potentially scary about losing your phone right there. For some reason, I thought of when the cell phone first came out and you lost your phone 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, it'd be bad. Today, the phone is so much more than just a phone. When you lose it now, it's a big deal.
Oh, it is. And if you think about how the types of business transactions that we do on our phones, there's some people that they have a desktop or a laptop in their office, and then everything else is done on their phone. And you were to lose that, and somebody was to be able to get into that system. I mean, it could be devastating, not for you, to you as an individual, to your real estate firm, and then obviously your clients.
And not only that, as we talk many times about cybersecurity here on this show, there have been several articles, not just in the Wall Street Journal, but in other publications that are talking about people that are targeting to steal your iPhone, especially
Absolutely.
the iPhone for some reason. If they get it, that's a doorway to so many bad things that could happen. So hang on to your phone. That's all.
Absolutely. So that's an easy way to, as you said, doorway to get into. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I better cover mine up over here, Bill. Yes, sir.
Doing a phone check right
Yes.
now. In the meantime, that's awesome, John. So let's tell people, what else do we want them to know? This is fascinating stuff. You're always organized when you come forth and bring this tremendous information. I like how you're logical with this.
Well, I guess one thing I would like them to know is they need to listen next week. Because
special.
next week we're going to talk about 7 ways to minimize those risks that we just shared. So we're gonna and next week we're going to talk about.
It's not fair to do that to people to get them. It's another 7 days from now.
Well, but people so enjoy talking about insurance
They love it.
They love it.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
So let's tell people how they can reach you for more insurance fun and information, and hey, you can help them, counsel them through all these the risk.
Absolutely. So if you'd like to be properly insured, whether that be as an individual or a family on your personal insurance, or if you're a real estate professional for your business insurance, we can help. And you can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. You can learn more about Stewart Insurance at stewartinsurance.com, or email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
And, of course, I always like to remind people that if you're listening on the Internet, you may not be in Houston, Texas. Stewart Insurance is helping people all over the United States.
Absolutely. We have both the personal and business clients all over the U.S.
And the beauty is your number
866-798-2827.
works in all the states, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does.
Thank you, John, for being with us with Stewart Insurance.
Always a pleasure, Bill.
And now, how about a quick word from Joyce Eisenberg and Rachel? Well, Joyce, it's been a while. Let's tell people. First of all, Joyce, your offices that you cover are?
I'm in Katy and Fulsher.
And you brought Chris and Jennifer here today.
Yes, Chris Hiller with Keller Williams Premier, walking distance from the office.
That's right.
And Jennifer Rhodes with Red Lion Realty. We do some wonderful networking.
That's right. I've been at a couple events. They're
twice
always
a month. We enjoy those.
That's super awesome. Well, let's one quick word. You were on vacation.
I was.
Israel.
Just got back from Israel, yes.
Scale of 1 to 10. 10
11.
being great. 11. Wow.
Other than that crazy traffic in Israel, it was amazing. I went to the Sea of Galilee, and this time I got to touch the wall. Went to the Western Wall. It was very cool.
Well, Joyce, let's tell people how to reach you. Joyce Eisenberg with Stewart Title, developing business in a magnificent way.
Why, thank you, Bill. You can always find me at Stewart Title Katy and Stewart Title Fulsher Facebook pages, and on my cell, 832-389-4306. 832-389-4306.
Thanks, Joyce.
Thank you.
Here she is, also developing business in a magnificent way. Rachel Saunders with Stewart Title. Rachel, let's tell people your office is.
Hey, Bill. Well, I am down in the Friendswood office as well as the Gulf Freeway office, which is our fully bilingual office.
Covering the South, sort of, right?
Yep, covering the southeast part of Houston, headed down towards Galveston. We say we got you covered from H-Town to G-Town.
That's right. If people look at Houston on a map with the circles around it, the different loops and so forth, we're covering all the bases.
We really do. We have an office for you anywhere you go.
And with super people like you, Joyce, and so many others. Let's tell people, give us a feel. How's things going down there right now from a business standpoint? You all pretty busy?
We are extremely busy. I mean, we are closing deals every day, helping, and there's so much work going on behind the scenes, not just closing. So, I mean, they are extremely busy, but they're having an amazing time.
That's a pretty fancy watch band, not to change the subject, but my goodness, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. My
How long have you had that?
My husband got it for me for Mother's Day.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to tune into the YouTube channel, stewart.com/radio. Check out that watch and watch band. Rachel, let's tell people how they can reach you, Rachel Saunders.
They can reach me at 832-418-4778. We are also on Facebook and Instagram.
Speaking of accessories, you notice I have the erasable ink pen that you introduced me to a while back. I'm enjoying that.
My realtors love that as a gift.
They're awesome. Thank you, Rachel Saunders.
You're welcome.
And now she's back, Jennifer, with Red Lion Realty. Well, Jennifer, here we are, wrapping up the show. Everybody's enjoyed it so far, I think. The dogs are happy.
Yes.
So before we close things down, what else do you want people to know?
That they can reach out to me at 832-431-6736 for all their real estate needs in the Katy Fulsher area. Again, 832-431-6736.
And don't forget, everybody, Jennifer is very organized. She can help you with the organizational
Yes.
tips. And remember, years ago, it was Marie Kondo came out with the book.
Oh, yes.
She really put a focus on having
She
people
did.
get organized.
She did, and finding joy in the things that you kept. That was her
That's right.
mantra.
If I open my drawer, which I do, and it is cluttered,
Yes.
I don't find joy.
I was going to say, I don't think you would, Bill.
I know. We need some joy. Your number again, Jennifer, is
832-431-6736.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
And Chris Hiller is here, Keller Williams Premier. Chris, as we wind up the show, what else do you want people to know?
Well, I didn't get to mention that I have a team, and my team is bilingual. I've got a fantastic agent whose first language is Spanish named Osneda Canales. I also have a person on my team that specializes in investors and also in acreage.
Speaking of covering bases, right? You're covering a lot of things right there.
Yeah.
And I can be silent in 7 languages. Outside of that, that's my limited capabilities. In the meantime, Chris, what else do you want people to know?
Well, again, they can reach me at 832-687-6366. And I'm very grateful for being on your show.
And the market, it's amazing as we look at the market and go forth here in Houston, Texas. I don't know how it is in other places, but we're very fortunate to have it the way it is.
We are. You know, the Houston market, the only downturn we ever had was in the 80s. And, we don't get affected. We don't have a high beta, to use a stock market term, in our real estate world.
And Chris, your number again is?
832-687-6366.
We're writing real estate history in Houston, Texas, and the surrounding areas every day, and in fact, Texas history. Thank you, Chris. She is back. Anna Babineau, Guild Mortgage, with a big suitcase of money right here she wants to give out. Well, I might be exaggerating there, right?
Well, I like money.
We all do. It's a lifeblood of the real estate transaction and other things.
Yes.
Before we close things down, Anna, what else do you want people to know?
Well, I want people to know that Guild services its loans. Did you know that?
I did not. So let's tell people what that means.
So that means that when you do a loan with Guild, we're making your payment to Guild. And there's a second bonus on that, in that when you close your purchase with us and the rates come down and we refinance your loan, we're going to give you a discount.
Okay, that's a good point. So let's say I have a loan, and let's take the highest. Let's say I don't have great credit. Would I be paying 8% maybe?
No.
Okay, all right, let's say 7%. All right, let's take that number.
Yeah. So
someone buys a home right now at 7%, and whatever their credit is. They get 7%. The rate goes down to 5. Well, let's make it crazy. 4 in about a year. Now, what happens? I call you up and say, hey, can I get a better rate?
I'm probably calling you because I have a program that tells me the rates have improved and that you're optimal for that refinance. Also, you have a tool that I gave you that tells you that rates went down and you went green and it's time to refinance.
I went green?
You went green.
I prefer turquoise.
Well, I do too.
Right,
it's our color.
Well, on that note, that's a cliffhanger there, Anna.
There you go.
Until next time, let's tell people your number.
713-907-5365.
Thank you for being with us. One more time, your number is?
713-907-5365.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett, Tom Carpentier, and all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. We appreciate you listening. Simply go to stewart.com/radio. You can see the guests, you can hear the guests, not just on this show, but beyond several years at stewart.com/radio. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.